And this, getting back to the significant portion of range, the benefit of having that improved in the ESA language, what does that give us? What does that help us do better?
Well, it certainly would give the court clear direction. And we all need to be mindful of the design of our government. Legislators make laws. Governors and presidents sign laws and work on implementation through their agencies. And the courts interpret laws and ensure that implementation is lawful. So the courts have a very, very, very important role to play. But they very much look to the legislative arm of our government for instruction. They look to the executive branch of our government for instruction. In many respects, the judicial branch of our government is a very reactive branch, reacting to circumstances brought before it, and reacting in a manner that honors the instruction provided by the legislative branch, and then secondarily the executive branch. And of course, the fourth branch of our government, it's a pseudo branch, but it's very, very important, and that's the media. And one could argue it's the fourth pillar of support for this country. You've got the legislative branch, you've got the executive branch, you've got the judicial branch, and then you have the media that serves a very, very important public function by disseminating what we hope in an ideal world is credible, unbiased information, so citizens can make informed decisions about circumstances they see going on around them. Well, I mean, it's tough to be a good citizen because there's lots of information out there, and it all looks good. Gee whiz, you can design a website, and boy, it looks like it's right on the money. It looks to be scholarly, looks to be diligent, looks to be honest, looks to be fair, and it's just a load of bullshit. And that's just the problem with this great proliferation of outlets of information. And on the one hand, the internet, for example, is this great tool that empowers all of us to easily access information. But gee whiz, we're not sure at the end of the day if the information is reliable. Information that's not reliable, I would argue, is not information. It's just misinformation.
We are drowning in a sea of that, it seems.
That's right. Well, but it's your responsibility. It's each of ours responsibility to be informed. It's very difficult in this country to be a good citizen. It demands a lot of us. You've heard it almost so often that it's become somewhat trite. Freedom ain't free. That's true, and it's true because you got to dig pretty deep. You got to be willing to listen to lots of different sources because you begin to blend a message from many, and you might find some truth somewhere, some reliability somewhere. But anyway, back to your, we're drifting now off in the direction of political philosophy and what does it mean to be a citizen in this country. Back to your original question, what would clarification do? It would give the courts some better instruction. It would give the executive branch and its functional agencies, the president runs the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service. The U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service implements the Endangered Species Act. But the president and the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service is reacting to what Congress does. Congress is the body of lawmakers. So if Congress can clarify its work by insisting the service modify regulations governing the implementation of the Endangered Species Act, if Congress would clarify its work by possibly amending the Endangered Species Act so some of these terms are better defined, that would allow the executive branch through the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service to do a better job implementing the law in a manner consistent with congressional intent, and that would then give the court a better opportunity to make sure the Fish and Wildlife Service is honoring congressional intent with its implementation as the court reviews cases brought before it by citizens that believe the Fish and Wildlife Service has missed the mark. So you can easily imagine where clarification would be helpful. And you ask me what I would try to improve, I would try to improve the Endangered Species Act by making clear that significant portion of range is recognized by everybody as a really big deal, and that this country didn't simply say, we want to prevent extinctions. That's a good first step. But what the country said with the Endangered Species Act is that we want to embark on a journey. We want to embark on a journey that takes us to healthier landscapes going forward. We want these species to not only be not extinct, we want them to be so common in the future, that they can be delisted. That's the only conclusion one can reach for the Endangered Species Act, and that, Tom, is a really big deal.